Mm-hmm.
Welcome everybody to another episode of L Liberators. I'm your host, Kevin Thornton, and my co-host, Tiger White. Today's gonna be another great episode, thought-provoking. We love your feedback, so type comments as we would love to get your feedback as we talk about today. Today for their partners. Um, I'll go first. Come on, my partner, he gets kind of settled. Um, and I would say yes. I think both. I'm not going to say one more than the other. I think both in this new day and age have unrealistic expectations of what they expect from their partners. As a male, I think a lot of females, not all, but a lot of them have the expectation they want the 3 6s, 6 foot, six pack, six figures. Now,
That's the first one for me. I've never heard that before. That's cool.
you have not heard that?
Uh-uh.
Yeah. The 3 6s, 6 foot, six pack, six figures. And that's unrealistic because the m- most most black men are making average money, which is like 50, $60,000. So not a lot of black men are going to be making $100,000, and the ones that are making $100,000, they already know they are in an elite category. So then, therefore, they know they have the power to choose who they want. So I just think that's unrealistic for one. Two, a lot of the ones that asking for that, do you make six figures? Do you have a six pack? So whatever you're asking for of your mate, you gotta ask yourself, do you have those same traits or qualities? Because that makes you looking for that 666, he's gonna have qualifications as well. And do you gotta ask yourself, do you meet the qualifications that he gonna probably wanna have? What's your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, you gave me some new information with the 666, six pack, 6 foot, and six figures, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's an unreal. I don't know, man. And when you look at the numbers and the average income, and then someone throw that out there, you got to be making six figures, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. It kicks so many men to the outside, and they can't even get in. So
Absolutely.
what about those dudes that just want to be loving, just want to be caring, just want to, just be there for his lady, but you already put stipulations on him because you don't make 100,000, or you put stipulations on him because he don't have a six pack, or you put a stipulation on him because he's not 6 feet. Man, that kicks a lot of men to the side, and man, that ain't right. And it's a lot of good men not in that category that a lot of people don't want to open up to. That's unrealistic.
Hmm.
For me, it's like, hey, I'm coming empty slate. I'm not looking for nobody. I'm not whatever. So I can be open to a person that, like, man, what's your intellect? How you talk to me? That's my expectation. Like, how you talking to me? How I can just be a friend with you and don't have to meet you, kind of thing. That's the expectations that we should have. But to put a 6 foot tall, six figures, and six pack, that's horrible. That's horrible, Kevin.
But
That's horrible, man.
that's the thing. That's not all, but that's is a requirement for some,
That's
and
horrible.
it is.
If you have that requirement, ladies, if you have that requirement, 6 foot, six figures, and wait a minute, 6 foot, six figures, and
Six pack,
six
six
pack,
pack. Yeah.
delete that from your memory. Delete it right now. And Coach Kev and 5DT is gonna help you find you somebody that you need, that's deserving of you, right there.
Exactly.
If you just delete that alone. But back to the topic, do we set unrealistic expectations? I would say yes, all the time. For me, being married, sometimes you don't look at the other partner and what they're going through. Like some may have a stressful job, some may have family things that they're going through. And if you're not an open partner to come in and realize all those things going on, then you say, hey, it's all those things come in at one time. And then you say, hey, can you cook for us today? That's an unrealistic expectation to me. That's an unrealistic expectation. When you say, hey, I know you got this stressful job. I know you got family going on right now. I know the children kicking your butt, whatever. And I know you're in limited time, but can you cook? It's unrealistic when you got all the free time to just say, hey, man, I'll just figure out something and I'll cook. That's what I see a lot.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm sorry, Kev.
You're right. And or, you have the people that they have expectations of the other person, but it's not communicated.
Mm-hmm.
So therefore, you always set the person up for failure, because you have an expectation of what this person is supposed to be, how he's going to act for you as your potential partner, but yet you have not communicated that to him or her. So then how he or she's supposed to know what the expectation is if you haven't told them that.
Good point.
And so then when you get upset because the expectation is not met, you're getting upset because it's not being met, but yet you're not upset with yourself because you never communicated the expectation.
Gotcha.
I get that a lot too, because when you put a couple together and they'll say, well, I want you to do this, but the person said, I never knew that. You never told me that.
Yeah.
So you already set that person up for failure. So part of that too is unrealistic expectation is you have an expectation that's not being communicated. So this being unrealistic.
That's a good one. For you, basically somebody you expecting your partner to understand your every need and every want in the moment and figure it out, and you don't have to communicate it to them.
Right.
That's unrealistic. Yeah, that's a good one. That's a good one. I would have never thought of that one, but that's high up there on the list right there.
Yeah.
When you hear a lot of people, I listen to a lot of females, and they'll go and they'll dog out their significant whoever sometimes to other people, and they were talking about how bad they are in the bed and stuff, right? So what I'll immediate ask is like, well, did you communicate to him what he needs to do or what you want from him? No, he should know already. What? That's unrealistic.
It's absolutely.
Because
because what he was doing in the bed with somebody else, they may have enjoyed.
Yeah.
You're a different person. So then therefore, you have to be able to teach them how you like it. Because how he may have done before, maybe has worked for him.
Maybe he needs some training. Who knows?
Right.
That's what you're there for. Communicate. It's unrealistic for you to go in there and say, hey, he should know everything I need right now in the bed. And he's never done that with you before, or he's done it a few times, but you ain't never communicate him like, good job, but help him out.
Right.
Be realistic. Help him out. Coach him. Lead him along the way kind of thing. That's what I tell anytime I'm in a conversation and, hear females talking like that. That's the first thing I throw out there. And it gets them every single time. Every single time. Like, why you just can't talk to that man? That's why we're given a mouth, and, the ability to speak words is what? So we can communicate at all times.
Right. And that's one of the biggest reasons why people break up, because of lack of communication.
Yeah.
And so if we learn how to communicate and be okay with communicating what we need and what we want, because the man is going to do whatever he can to please the woman.
Yeah.
He can't please you if he doesn't know what he needs to be doing.
And a lot of us, you got to think we struggle with it because we think we know, but unfortunately, it's so many variations and varieties and things like that. So a lot of times they may not know. Yeah, you might get one here and there, like, hey, hit it every time, home run. But unfortunately, it's not realistic that the majority are like that.
Right.
It's horrible.
Exactly. I don't know what.
Because man, we get trashed on so much, man. Y'all ain't doing this right. You're not doing that right. You're not doing this. You're not doing that. Well, communicate with us. Come on now, communicate with me. Let me know what's going on. That's what I would say if I was in a relationship. A man knows most of the time. Most of the time, he know like, yo, man.
I didn't bring it tonight, but I got you next time.
A man knows, man. Listen, a man knows, even though he may not be saying anything, he knows. So at that point, like, hold up, like at that point, you should know, like, let me coach him through this, and like, no, like, we can't go through that scenario again. It's unrealistic,
Mhm.
Just like it's unrealistic for us as men to go in and say, hey, I'm just gonna tear you down, and on the back end, you're supposed to be happy with that. That's not realistic.
Right.
Come on, Kev. But be honest, Kev. If you get in a group of men and we start in there, we're talking about this subject. What does everybody want to talk about? What they done?
Mm-hmm.
What they done beat up?
Yeah. I didn't beat it up. Don't they probably lie?
Yeah. Yes. Well, we need to talk about these things. These are things that goes on, when dudes talking like, man, that's what I went in, I did whatever. But you talk to the girl, she be like, my God, I would never again. You be like, wait a minute, which one of y'all lying?
Right.
So,
exactly.
But I had to get a laugh in there, man. But that's unrealistic to think that, you can go in, you just bow, 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 and she happy with that. Nah.
And then I think, it's unrealistic too to think that or have the expectation that the woman is going to be just like how your mother was, and if your parents was married to your father. I can't expect whoever I've married to be just like my mom. It's unrealistic. That's two different generations.
It's a different type of love.
It's a different type of love too.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so, therefore, if you expect them to do and treat me like how she treated my dad, and that's two different loves, two different generations. I'm setting them up for failure because I gotta allow her to be her.
Mm-hmm.
Now in that, I gotta be able to teach her how to love me, just like she gotta teach me how to love her.
True.
But at the end of the day, I can't expect her to act and be like my mom.
True.
And how she was in a relationship with my dad.
True. Or sometimes, do you think it's sometimes even doing some of the things that your mom would do? Is that unrealistic too?
It can be because it might not be in her to do that.
Yeah, that's a good question. I would love to know if other people's thoughts on that. Is it unrealistic for them to do something like that? For me, it doesn't matter. But yeah,
you're right. It might not matter but like you said, I just don't, because it might not be in her to be able to do some of the things that your mom may have done for you, and it might not be natural. It might not be a natural thing for them to do. Mm-hmm. Now, is it something she could probably learn to do to make you happy? Possible. But, by the time you get married, I feel like you should already know who the person is. You still learn the person. And if I marry that person, by the time I marry somebody, I'm going to love that person for who they are. Mm-hmm. And so, not who I want them to be, but who they are at this present moment. And so that'll be another thing for another topic of the conversation too, is I think a lot of times we marry people for the wrong reasons. We still feel we could like mold them and create them to who we want them to be, instead of asking ourselves, do I love this person for who they are right now? Not who they going to be, but for who they are right now. And if you can't say yes, then you might want to reconsider.
How many people do that though?
They don't.
Listen, all
And
we have to do is
that's part of the problem.
yeah. All we have to do is look at the numbers. I don't have the numbers right in front of me, but I did some research on it. Like I was comparing the divorce rates and everything between minorities and Caucasians, and like it was at 50%, and Caucasians like 15. I was like, is that number right? Is that number right? Because if it is at 50%, that means that, like you said, we're going in with these expectations and not thinking it through when we should be thinking it through first with what? Being a friend. Friendship first. Friendship over everything.
Friendship over everything.
Friendship over everything, all day, every day. And
it's
yeah, go ahead.
crazy because like you'll get somebody now they dating 2, 3, 4, 5 years before they get married and last a year. My example from myself that I have seen and watched, my father proposed to my mother after 6 months,
hmm
and now they've been married going on 55 years.
hmm
And so it's just the fact that um, I think part of it too, from what I understand, is when you at the point you want to get married. I think you said it before too. Is having the tough conversations
Yeah.
because it's not just about love; it's also a business.
Yeah.
You and your wife is a business as well, and
Yeah.
so y'all gotta figure out, how we're gonna do the money,
hmm
how we gonna raise kids if we have kids. All that should be discussed before we even think about getting married because we're not gonna be in alignment. We are already
Yeah.
one foot into divorce.
Yeah. Yeah. That's a hard one though. But that's real. But like you said, like, the communication process is unrealistic to think that you're going to have a happy marriage, a happy relationship when you're not willing to communicate down to this almost the smallest detail
Mhm,
on things. There's
mhm,
it's but the reason this is important because look at the divorce rate. So I've been divorced before. So being divorced, it sets you back a couple of years. Even though you may do good in the end, but those years that you had that setback, kind of like, if I would have just, man, forgot, just had this straight, blah, 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 that setback would have never even been in there and I could have been here.
mhm.
So, and I think the biggest part of it is the communication part of it. I was
Yeah,
being unrealistic
yeah.
about thinking I can get away with all this, and then boom, here comes divorce. Nah,
Mhm.
so unrealistic.
And I think because and like you said that, it's I think sometimes it makes it hard for somebody like me because I've watched how they operate and my parents do a lot of communication.
hmm
That I'm not gonna say they don't never get in an argument or anything like that,
hmm
but they communicated a lot, and so what works for them may not work for somebody else. May come down how they deal with certain things, but that's what they agreed upon as a team.
hmm
And, I see how it works, and so like you said, we don't communicate, and I think a lot of times those tough conversations like taboo.
hmm
It's like all I want to focus on is that I love that person.
hmm
I don't want to talk about you know the raising of the kids or
Uh,
all the other stuff like that.
yeah.
We'll figure that out when that time
As we
comes.
go, as we go.
Right.
And as we go, doesn't 9 times out of 10 it's not going to work because there's a lot of things that you're not going to calculate in that maneuver that it might, like I would say, cause a setback because now you thinking that you're going to get to this point. You didn't realize this is in the middle, and you're at the point of blowing when it's time for you to communicate whatever you wanted to communicate to that person at that time. You're at the point of ready to blow up, and when you blow up, 9 times out of 10. That's how we got the domestic disputes everywhere,
Mhm,
divorces, people hitting each other, fighting about what?
mhm.
It ain't that serious to be fighting
And,
about things that don't matter. Go ahead. I'm sorry, Kev.
and even with the point, in fact, I just like I saw this. recently too, and part of unrealistic expectations. If you having a conversation with the guy and y'all in the early stages, and one of the things y'all talk about is kids, and the guy said, "I don't want kids,"
Mm-hmm.
but you want kids, then that should be something that you should be like, oh, "That's a deal breaker for me. Appreciate you. Let's
Yeah.
move on."
Yeah.
But I've been seeing lately, even I saw it on TV. Now, also, I've experienced it with some of my people I've coached,
Mm-hmm.
where they didn't want kids, but the woman felt like, okay, if I get pregnant, that would change
Yeah.
how they see things.
Yeah.
And in this one situation, I saw where the person got pregnant, and the guy was like, "I told you I didn't want to be a parent.
Mm.
Oh, this is all gonna be on you." And now the person is like, "But yeah, yeah." And even though he should protect himself as well.
Yeah.
You already know, why am I even going down this road of having sex with this guy, put myself out there to possibly get pregnant when he already done told me what it is for him. But I had this unrealistic expectation that I could change him by just getting pregnant.
So, are you saying it's unrealistic? Let me break it down, okay? Are you saying it's unrealistic for a woman to get pregnant by a man that's already told you that he didn't want no children? It's unrealistic to think that you're going to have a long-term relationship with that man when he already told you in the beginning he didn't want any children?
Absolutely.
I see that a lot.
Hmm.
So what is it that causes them to do it? Is
They,
it, but this
they,
is a two-way street though.
yeah, it
You
is
know,
two-way
if he
street.
didn't want children, he shouldn't do it. I agree.
I
But at
agree.
some point, like, hey, if you know it, don't. That's a hard one. That's a
Right.
difficult one. That's a difficult one to deal with because
And realize, and to be honest, both should have been using some kind of form of protection instead of put it all on one person. I think the man or the woman both probably should be wearing, especially the man, if he says he don't want kids. If I'm saying I don't want kids, trust me, it's not gonna be a day without the jitney.
listen,
But
I think that's out of the door, Kev, because as many commercials I can see on the TV now, man, where it's like, okay, you don't have to do protection anymore. We got this pill you can take and just
oh no,
you good.
I don't trust that.
Like, what? What?
I don't
Wait
trust
a
that.
minute. Wait a minute. But unfortunately, you think before you think. A lot of us men, we go right to what we want, and we don't think and say dive right in. Say, man, am I? But before we dive right in, we don't even think. Am I protected? Am I
Right.
good? So right now, I'm glad you said that. It puts us in a position like, man, I'm so glad, so thankful to not be out there and having to look for somebody that's significant other right now, because you got this going on. It's hard. I apologize for cutting you off, Kevin. But I had
Oh,
to
you
hit that off.
good. You right though. It's like, it
It
is what it is.
it puts the expectation in the mind. Like, oh, it's all shoot. Oh, I can't get caught, or I can't catch this or catch that. Oh, let me go right out here, man. Because when I don't have that on, it feels so good. So if I do this or mess
Mhm.
up, whatever, I got this to just take it all away.
And so, and we could go right there too, because I've had some people that I had to coach, that I was coaching,
Uh,
who didn't really want kids. They didn't want to have kids, and really didn't want to have kids with the person they was dealing with. And but yet don't like wearing condoms.
yeah.
So that means your pull-out game gotta be on point.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Because the person they're messing around with is not on no birth control pills either.
Yeah.
So nobody's using no form of birth control. So the birth control is pull out.
So
So
so so you're playing Russian roulette
you
with
playing
somebody
Russian
else's
roulette.
life.
Exactly.
Why are you playing Russian roulette? You playing Russian roulette with your life. You playing Russian roulette with if it's a male, female, whoever the significant other is on the other side. And not only that, you're bringing a child into the world. You play Russian roulette with that child's life because 9 times out of 10, what the statistics show that 9 times out of 10, a situation like this don't end up good.
No.
It's hard.
And then this person is not being conceived out of love, and they're going to feel that energy.
Yep.
During the process.
Yeah.
And both situations that I know of, it was a toxic situation.
Mm-hmm.
And so as the baby is growing in the stomach, that baby can feel the toxic energy that's going between the two people.
Mm-hmm.
And so you are already hurting the baby before it's even born.
Mm-hmm.
And so then when it's born, now they really feel the toxic energy because now it's worse because now it's not getting no better.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because you had this expectation thinking that he's gonna change, he's gonna do better, and he's gonna still be the same person that he is. He told you who he was.
Yeah.
And you thought that I could change this person.
Yeah. That's crazy. It's in like I don't get that one at this point in time in the future. I don't get it because it's like I'm gonna do whatever I want to do regardless of how you feel and what you think. I'm gonna do whatever, and then because I don't care, and I'm gonna do whatever I want to do, and you better take up the back end of it because I'm doing what I want to do, kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? I want to do what I want to do regardless of the fact, and a lot of times, people get hurt by that, and it ain't cool, and it ain't good. So that's just my opinion.
Right.
So yeah,
So
I don't know. Yeah, that's just my opinion, Kev. Sorry about that noise, man. I don't know what that was, but a lot of people get affected by that alone, man. And like, why are we not thinking? It's unrealistic for people to go into life doing these things, and then on the backside of that, you thinking your life is supposed to be this grand thing.
Right.
That's unrealistic. Let's just be honest. That's unrealistic. It's unrealistic for you to go out here, we're sleeping with a man, or a man sleeping with a woman, and you, like you said, with the pullout game, if your pullout game and you ain't checking him on his pullout game and stuff like that, to expect that you're not going to have a child come from it.
Exactly.
It's unrealistic.
And then you got the new generation of women who want to live this soft lifestyle, where they want a man who pretty much is well off, who's going to give them the soft lifestyle where they don't have to work. They just be able to go shop and travel, do what they want to do. And I feel like that's also an unrealistic idea as well, because you can't have your cake and eat it too. But that person who's making all that kind of money works hard, unless he's doing something illegal. But if he's doing it the legit way, he works hard and he puts in a lot of hours. So then, therefore, he's gonna be able to give the money that you want to live that soft lifestyle, but he's not gonna be available like you want to give you the time that you probably want from him as well. So it's like, what do you want? If you want the soft lifestyle, are you gonna be okay with the fact that he might not be physically and emotionally available to you like you want him to be?
You triggered something when you said that. So is it realistic to want all that? Like you said, you're gonna have to put in the hours. A lot of times with those people working hard, sometimes it's physical work too, right?
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes it's not physical work. Is it realistic to want that, and then he doing all this stuff, and then he come home, and then you expect him to perform at a magnificent rate?
Right.
Is that realistic, or is that unrealistic? Expectations. 9 times out of 10, that's an unrealistic expectation. Why? Because the man is tired.
Mm-hmm.
You want to perform 12 midnight. He trying to get up and go to work in the morning.
Right.
Like, you want to perform right. It's unrealistic. And I see it a lot. I'm like, my goodness. Give him a break. Be easy on him. A little bit.
especially as we get older. So the men's sex drive is higher as we were younger.
Uh
Women's sex drive increased once they hit 40. So now they hit, and then when the ones that's in their 40s now their sex drive is high. And we like, you still can do.
like, girl.
You're like goes down somewhere.
I mean, but you being real though, like, I mean, I don't know what everybody else got on, but like, my gosh, just be a little easy. That's it. That's
Yeah.
realistic. Be a little easy on the man, you know. Like if it's a difference if he's coming home playing video games, got all this time to be watching a whole bunch. There's a difference. But if he ain't got time for none of that, I mean, 9 times out of 10, he's pretty busy. And to have him come in and do that, that's kind of unrealistic. So,
Right.
that's what I would say.
You know.
So
You know how you entrepreneur, you busy, you up early and gone. I'm up early. Well, I come home late and still get up early. And so my energy is on 2-3 hours of sleep.
yes.
So the expectations,
Like, man, yeah, I get it. I can see that. And that's fair too. I think that's fair. So a reason I say it's fair is because like if you having him do all of these things and want that, it's really not fair enough for you to say, just man, come and do all that, man. No. Be like, who was the comedian that said, man, you got about 45 seconds. You better get what you gonna get in those 45 seconds and I'm done. I forgot who that was. But I mean, I don't know.
and then I think what would be fair is you find somebody that's in alignment with you of your busy. So because if you're not that busy and the person you have is busy,
Yeah.
it's not gonna be an understanding. But if you
Yeah.
both are real busy,
Yeah.
then we both understand. And it's like, okay, we're gonna pencil in some time and we're gonna make that work and we're gonna give our best effort
Mhm.
and keep on going.
Yeah.
And I think that works for me because I'm real busy.
Mhm.
So the lady I deal with is real busy as well.
Mhm.
And so,
It makes and that I think I told you, because I set on myself fast. Learn how to fast away from it because it'll have you just like a beast. Like that's when you want it. So I have learned to just set it to all right. This month I'm gonna just fast. Blah blah blah. Blah. And then what I realized is after the fasting, you come back. You're at a I don't know. Your creativity goes out the roof. I mean, your energy goes out the roof. I mean, so many different things change within your body by doing that alone. And not to mention the performance alone.
You perform better because you missed the person.
Yeah.
You missed the person. So you're going to give your all because you all have not been together for a minute because you're both been so busy. So, it's a whole different thing. But it's like because we both want it and we both want it at the same time. Whereas if one person is in need of it all the time and you just doing it just to appease the person is not going to be the same all the time.
All the time. You're treating it like an alcoholic drink. Like, like, hey, I'm just going to go home and get a beer or something and chill out. It's a different kind of enjoyment.
Right.
That's all I can say. It's a different kind of enjoyment. There's nothing wrong with going home and having a little beer, but it's a different kind of enjoyment when you haven't had it in a while and then you go get that one. It's totally different.
Mm-hmm.
If that's you, that's cool. That's what you like to do. Cool. But I think go back to the money thing. I know you threw a number out there saying 50,000, 70,000. That's a hard one for me to say, man. How in the world are people making it and living off of that income and then expecting I think you said men to live this certain lifestyle. how is that, man? Like, what
When
is
the
that
average,
like in the real world for people?
when the average income is like $50,000, $60,000, and most men, first of all, most men are average height, which is 5'9". Most men are making an average income which is between $50,000 to $70,000, right?
Man,
So then now you got this new age of people who want you to drop down $300 on your first date, and you making between 50 and $70,000. You dropping $300 on your first date. That's somebody's bill not getting paid.
yeah. What happened to just go? Hey, let's go on a picnic or something.
No, they doing all that.
Man, these bugs tear me up out here. Why you bring me on this picnic? But that, I mean, that's romance, man. We've lost romance, dog.
You
We've
can't.
lost it.
They don't even want you to take them to a coffee shop and just sit down and have coffee and talk.
What?
They don't want you to do that either.
Man, that's horrible, man. That's horrible. We lost the simple things, man, to find love, man. It's not even there. It doesn't exist no more. That's crazy. Got all these stipulations on love.
I think love has now become transactional instead of just what we used to know what it was. So it's based off the transaction. How much you willing to spend on me gonna tell me how much you love me.
I feel sorry for those guys. Anybody in that position, I feel bad. Or whoever, I feel bad for them.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's like you just want to, you know, everybody wants love coming into this world. Everybody wants some type of love coming into this world. And to have that stipulation blocking you from receiving love, that's heartbreaking. That man, I just like my job, man, but my job don't pay no more than 50 to 70,000. But I love my job. But you know, I guess I got to go a little bit further because you know I'm not going to find somebody that's going to love me when I'm making this kind of money. That's horrible, man. You know, or is it because you have a lot of females that make a lot of money, which is a good thing? I think it's a barrier there now where. Okay, you have a lot of females making six figures, but they won't accept a man coming in, even though he can be loving, caring, will be the best person for them and treat them like a queen. They'll put that barrier up like, oh, you ain't making six figures? Nah, bro. Nah, dog. Nah, man. Nah, go to that other girl back there, man. Not from. But at the end of the day, if she was to probably do it, man, they probably would have one of the most successful marriages on the planet.
Yep.
Just by sacrificing just a small little bit.
Mm-hmm.
So that's
and see with our women gotta understand both the male and the female. For a lot of times, a lot have been raised without the father in the household, right? But it's still a difference. Mm-hmm. The mother is pushing their daughters to go to school, get your degrees, so you don't have to rely on no man for nothing. Mm-hmm. The boys are not being as pushed as hard. And if they are pushed, especially down here, they're pushing them to go play a sport as if that's the only way they can be any kind of form of successful. So they're not pushing, to me, they're not pushing education on the boys like they are the girls. Mm-hmm. And so that's where you can see the big difference, because these girls are going to school, they're getting not 1, 2, but 3 degrees, and now they're going out getting this $100,000, $200,000 jobs, and we're not there.
They would rather have, you know, make the money and not have somebody than not make the money and have somebody. Mm-hmm. Love less. That's just a lot. I mean, yeah, you hope that, man. Either way, both you can have both, but love doesn't really exist for many people no more. Mm-hmm. And you can see by the dirt that if you just turn on the TV, you can just see people throwing stones everywhere, everybody. So love doesn't exist. Wow, mm-hmm. Just turn on the TV and look at how many people throwing stones at each other. Like boom, boom, boom. I'm gonna hit you with this one. Bow, crash your head, kind of thing. And like, dang. What happened to
And
love?
and everybody, like, the guys throwing stones at the women makes them feel like it's the women's fault
Yeah.
that we're in this spot. The
Yeah.
women are throwing stones saying it's the man's fault. The men have to elevate, you know,
Man.
get to our level and this and that. And so it's like, okay, why can't both of us be at fault and both of us work on being the best version of ourselves?
Mm.
But then too, the women got to ask themselves is how much money a man make. Is that truly a big deterrent of if you're gonna be able to like them or love them or not?
Love him, yeah. Yeah.
Because if you want to have if you say you want a black man, and but the reality is a lot of black men are not making that kind of money,
Mhm.
and then you get mad, then y'all get mad because the ones that do make that kind of money ain't checking for y'all.
Oh man, that's yeah. Okay, yeah.
So then, but then you got this group of men that are making decent money, average money, but probably will treat you like you want to be treated, but you're not giving them as an option because they don't make enough money for you. They might not have the job status that you might want to go along with what you do.
Mhm.
And so, so are you really, you set yourself up to be lonely because you're not open to other things or other people because based off their income.
Yeah. So for female or something, I'm just gonna talk about females right now. Let's say, oh, okay, well, I'm open to that, and that's something I would do. The money thing doesn't bother me. I just want a man that can love me. Not saying that he's broke with anything, but he's willing to work hard. What is the avenue and what's the approach to that?
That's gonna be a good question because I think it depends on the man.
Mm-hmm.
You got some men who probably ain't gonna care.
Let's say if it was you and you were making 54 to set whatever that number is, what would be
Okay, okay. So we had this conversation before. So like I went home to Cleveland and my cousin had like a girls' night, and so it was like my female cousins and her friends. So all of them are successful professional women, whether they're in healthcare or whatever. They all got great job titles, all close to making six figures, right? And so for me, I was doing okay, they all made more money than me. And so the question they asked me was, would that, intimidate me? I said, no. I said, because, at the end of the day, if we're going to become one, we are going to become one. And I said, that's first of all, I said, the only thing that's going to set a tone of how it could be a problem in the relationship between you and I is if you don't know how to leave your power at the job. Because once you come home, I'm not your subordinate. I'm your man. And so then therefore how you treat your subordinates while you at work, can't come home and treat me the same kind of way because it's not gonna work that kind of way. If we get that understanding, we good to go. I said, because I'm a confident man, so I'm not gonna be you making more money than me, it's not gonna make me feel any less of a man. And so, but what was crazy about that, Tiger, was that when I said that was my truth. The response was, where's the real men at? The ones that are insecure and stuff like that. So they weren't used to hearing a man saying that, I'm not gonna be insecure about what you make. Because I'm secure of who I am as a man. I'm confident who I am as a man. So then therefore, you making more money than me don't make me less than a man. You see what I'm saying? And so that kind of like, they know how to handle that.
That's a good one. Yeah,
So
yeah.
and these were some very attractive women,
Hmm.
make excellent money.
Hmm.
And so my cousin chimed in. She said, "Okay, you know, my cousins, the male cousins, are cut differently because they have been around us, so they're used to women like us.
Hmm.
But the women are not used to men like them because all of us are confident.
Hmm.
So what you're doing, what you make don't really mean anything to us. We're
Hmm.
proud of you. We're proud of you. But at the end of the day, if we're gonna make this work, this is how it's gotta be.
Hmm. And let me ask you another question. Is it this is a very I get this a lot when it's dealing with couples and stuff. Is it unrealistic or realistic for a person when you get into a relationship? Say you got finally get married, you become one. Is it
Mhm.
unrealistic or realistic to think that your finances are separate?
Um, I think it's
Mm.
I think well, I can only based on what I experienced. I experienced that we have a joint account that we put stuff in for the bills,
Mm.
but I also believe in she should have her own account, I should have my own account.
Mhm.
So everybody should have separate accounts so they can save their own kind of money for whatever they want to do for themselves.
Mhm.
But we both contribute to a joint account as well.
Mhm. Okay. For me, what we done and we found success in because when you become one, it's talking about wealth. Wealth becoming one. Not saying it's like, oh, we gotta have just one account and everything is there. But at the same time, to build and grow as a business, your business. So if you're not sitting down at the table and be willing to set through and say, all right, where we're at, where are we?
Mhm.
All right, and this count got this much, and this count got that much, and be able to understand the bigger picture where you are in the relationship. How can you grow your business? Why? Because this $100,000 is over here. One person didn't know about it, so that could have been something that could have
Mhm.
set them up here. Like, hey man, I got an
Right,
idea. What do you think? But then
right.
when it's separate, it's like you, it doesn't. You might can still grow, but do you grow as fast? Absolutely no.
Yeah, that's the key thing. You could everybody could have their own separate as long as the group the joint account, but like you said, still have a sit down and have conversations about what we're gonna do, how we're gonna build,
Hmm.
and how we're gonna make that happen
Yep.
as a united one.
Yep. And
Um,
yeah.
because I saw that on my parents do it for one, but then two, I saw a young couple. They like some YouTubers, and they sit down once a week
Hmm.
and they talk about their finances,
Hmm.
what they gonna do, what they have, what they gonna save, what they need to put money to the side for. If they gonna take a trip somewhere. Okay, we need to put money to the side for this. That means we got to cut back on X, Y, and Z
Hmm.
because we gotta do this.
Yep.
And when I saw that, I thought that was pretty cool, especially
Mhm.
for our younger generation to see,
Yeah, yeah.
because you know that's how it's going to make it work. And they both were very transparent on what they was doing.
Mhm.
So if one, is going to Starbucks every day,
Mhm.
he was like, babe, okay, we trying to do X, Y, and Z. We want to cut back on Starbucks.
Yep.
No, no, let's cook. Let's go out. Let's cut back on going out to eat. Maybe instead of going out to eat uh 3 times a week, they'll go once a week,
Mhm.
and we're gonna cook more and we go meal prep. So then
Mhm.
that's money we're saving. We're gonna put that money saved for our trip or whatever it is we're trying to get done.
Yep.
And that makes a lot of sense. But a
Yeah.
lot of times you said, well, that goes back to communication.
Yeah. Everything boils down to communication. And, as we end this, I always teach and tell people this. Communication is more important than love. How do we know this? In the beginning was the word, and the word was. That's communication. That's love. Communicate first, then love comes right after that. So no matter if you're in a relationship, no matter what you're doing, if you're not willing to go down whatever's bothering you in bothering you in your mind, whatever's bothering you in your soul, if you're with someone and you're not able to communicate it to that person, 9 times out of 10, your relationship is not going to be the best and it's not going to be successful. Why? Because you're not communicating what's deepest to you, what's hurting you. Because naturally, if something is inside of you and is in your mind, is in your body, and is hurting you, the person on the other side is 9 times out of 10 is going to be affected by it as the person that you're with each and every day. And they're trying to figure out what's wrong with you, but you're not able to communicate what's going on in your mind, what's going on in your body, so that person can help you. That's love. That's truth. And that's being realistic. That's a realistic expectation for you and a realistic expectation for your partner. So that's all I got, Kev. I mean, you hit me with this one today. I didn't know what I was going to say, but I think it came out good. And I hope people got some great things from this and really can go home and look in the mirror and say, hey, am I being realistic with myself and am I being realistic with my partner? So what? We can grow together. So that's all I got, Kev.
And I think I'll just leave it with is, you know, communication is key, and how you communicate with yourself is going to show how others can communicate with you. So communicate yourself with love, so then therefore those around you will communicate with you with love, because you dictate how people treat you by how you treat yourself. So if you want somebody to treat you with love, treat yourself with love first. With that being said,
Yeah.
have a great week. Like, subscribe, and share this to everybody else, and we say peace.
Yeah. So I just want to add one more thing, Kev. I just want to thank those people that stayed on with us for the entire time. We said some great things, and I hope it was helpful to you. Taylor Matthews, I see you just came on, and we appreciate you. We'll be back next Wednesday at 1 p.m. with another topic that's going to help set our generation and our culture free. So